we got to get straight to it.
It's good.
All right. So ESPN mock draft, first pick overall, Texans. We go with Bryce Young.
Okay.
We cool with that?
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I think so.
All right. Now here's where it gets tricky. So next off the board, Jalen Carter. Smart. Next off the board.
That's two with the Bears.
Bears, I think it was. Next off the board, Will Anderson. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Right.
Who's that pick?
I can't remember. I think it was the Seahawks.
Seahawks, yep.
I think Seahawks with Will Anderson.
Yep.
Fourth pick. I can't even tell you. I can't even remember tell you who the team was or who the pick was. Fourth pick, maybe Miles Murphy. Clemson. Miles Murphy. Off the board. Defensive end.
Yeah, DN.
So Miles Murphy gone. Guess who's up next?
Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts are up next. Guess who the Indianapolis Colts take?
CJ.
With the 5th overall pick.
CJ
Stroud. So the Colts take CJ Stroud with the 5th overall pick. The Texans have already taken Bryce Young with the 1st overall pick. Two guys out of the same draft, playing in the same division, playing each other 2 times a year. Man, if I tell you what, if we don't hit on that pick and CJ Stroud comes over here 2 times a year and whoops us, that will be the worst, most Colts-Texans thing ever. And I just, man, because I think whichever guy out of those 2 guys we take, I think they're taking the other one.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. And I'll tell you what, I was not huge on CJ Stroud. He did not, when I watched him all season long, he didn't move his feet enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seem like his pocket awareness was all that great.
Right.
And he just didn't seem like he wanted to move around in the pocket that much. He was just more of like okay, if it's not there, I'm gonna throw it away type of guy.
Right.
And if it's there, I'm gonna nail it.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's accurate. I'll give him that. He's been throwing the ball well all year. But he didn't want to move around. I see Bryce Young as I see Bryce Young as just as accurate and a more mobile guy. So, all the way up into the season, that's what I'm thinking. And then the Georgia and Ohio State game happens.
And he played
in
great.
The playoffs. And CJ Stroud tore them up, dude. The Ohio State should have won that game. They did not lose that game because of CJ Stroud. I'll tell you that. CJ Stroud played his ass off. He was, and here's what this is what makes me like, oh man, he looked mobile. He looked like a guy who could make a play, dude. He looked good. He looked really good.
He did look really good, and he definitely made himself some money in that game. All eyes were on him, and he balled out. I personally think that if the Colts drafted CJ and the Texans drafted Bryce Young, that would be popcorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody would be tuned into that year in after year just to see, right, who's the better, who's the better draft pick, everybody wants to say in hindsight, okay, they should have drafted this guy, should have drafted this guy. For me, I don't know what it is, man. My gut feeling out of these 2 guys, I just feel like Bryce Young will provide more upside than CJ Stroud. And I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Gut feeling, I think we'd be a lot better. The Texans would be a lot better if we drafted CJ.
Yeah.
But I think Bryce gets us farther for some reason.
Now, I will say, this mock draft gets better.
Okay.
So the Texans have another upcoming pick very soon, right?
That's true.
We have the 12th pick as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is who ESPN have the Texans taking with that 12th pick. And I don't know how this guy falls to us. ESPN said it, not me. Quentin Johnson.
Yep.
Quentin Johnson from TCU, the best wide receiver in college football. Did
he win the award this year?
He did.
He did?
He did. Yeah, they have him falling to us at 12. That's a combo. That's a combo right
I tell you what, I would be very happy with that. At that point, you got, let's say, Bryce. You got, I don't know how you feel about Nico Collins, but that's another big body. You got Nico Collins, Quentin Johnston, Mechie coming back. Maybe add another slot. You got Amari Rodgers, who's kind of been showing some upside late this year. Hopefully Mechie comes back healthy, ready to rock and roll. Dameon Pierce, you add another running back. You definitely got to add, maybe another guard in the draft. Maybe you free agency, you get a center. I feel like we need a center.
Right.
So a veteran center, someone who can hold it down and be a leader, especially if we have a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you add some defensive pieces. They got to get it right, the head coach. You got to get it right, OC. But if that happens, if those, that offense on paper at least looks a lot more competitive and exciting. That's the key word of our whole talk here with the Texans.
Then, if that's the case, then you have Bryce Young at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You've got hopefully John Mechie coming back healthy.
Yep.
Teaming back up with his old quarterback.
Right.
And then you have Quentin Johnston, who's arguably the best receiver in college football, coming on to be your wide receiver 1. And you still have Nico Collins to be a wide receiver 3. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think.
And then, you know what? I want to say, you know what? This guy, okay, so here's what it is. So he didn't draft the 32nd pick because it was technically a second-round pick, and he only did the first round.
Okay.
But the 32nd pick, I looked at it, and there is a tight end available with that 32nd pick that I really, really like. Who is the guy from
Georgia?
Yes. Brock?
No. His name is you talking about Brock Bowers, but that's not him. He's like a fullback tight end. But he's a huge guy. He's like 6'8", and
I think it's Brock Bowers.
Is it Brock? But they have another guy.
Do they?
Darnell Washington.
You're right. Darnell Washington.
He's like 6'8".
Yes. I think he's the Georgia guy who's been going higher off the board. So can
block, can catch.
There's also along with him, Dalton Kincaid would have been available as well, who has been a solid tight end this year. I don't know
I haven't watched a ton of him. What school is he coming out of?
I couldn't even tell you.
Kincaid.
I just know that I've seen his name a lot.
I mean, you got who are the other top 10? Michael Myers
was already off the board. I did look at that. He was the first tight end off the board. And
he probably will be
15 or something like that.
Yeah, he probably will be.
There's another discussion to be had though. I think the Patriots actually draft around the 14th pick or something like that, and they're a team that
I love tight ends.
We could also another they like to trade or draft and move back and get more capital.
True.
And we could probably offer them our first pick in the second round or something like that, and something else to move up and make another move like you know what? So I forgot. Okay. So there was also another guy available. This is what I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. So if this guy is available, would you rather go one of those tight ends or would you go Jamar Gibbs?
Ooh.
From Alabama. He was available. So,
dude, I'm so glad you brought him up.
Bijan Robinson was gone. Bijan Robinson was the first
He's going to be gone.
On the board.
He's going to be gone top 15 probably.
But they had Gibbs still on the board at that 32nd pick.
Whenever, of course, as a potential, as a potential landing spot for the Texans, you want to watch Alabama, you want to watch Bryce Young. So that I've kind of, I benefited from that by watching Jamar Gibbs this year.
Yep.
And I love the guy. I love how he plays.
Nice. He's nice.
Dude, he's smooth. He reminds me of Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
And I think the running style of him and Dameon Pierce together would be
great.
Crucial. I think it would be awesome. And I would hope that that's the case. I think he goes a little bit higher than what we think.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? You never know how the draft plays out.
Yeah.
You never know. If he's there, you don't think he makes it past the first round? Because if he's there for our first pick of the second round, I think we take him.
Gibbs?
Yeah.
With the 12th pick?
No. With our first pick of the second round.
Yes. With the 32nd pick, if he's there, I think we take him.
I think we take him.
I think we take him, and I think we should take him.
Yeah. So at that point, we go. Our first 3 picks are offenses.
That's the thing.
And after that, you're done. All defense.
Yeah. I think after that,
well, you just need some O linemen.
But here's
maybe.
the thing: is you still need a center, probably.
Yeah. Well, we have money in free agency.
But I will say this: I am not opposed to us focusing on the offense.
Yeah.
Because if we have a good offense, I'll enjoy watching the games.
Exactly.
So give me a good offense.
Throw some money at the defense now.
And throw a little money at the defense. We got Jalen Petrie, who has been a star this year. I'm rocking his jersey right now. Of course, I had to pre-order it as soon as I could. Jalen Petrie, he's a stud, man. He's a stud. Knew he would be as soon as we drafted him.
Yeah. It was immediately one of those like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be nice.
Something we need to talk about while we're talking about Jalen Petrie.
Okay.
I like Nick Caserio so far. I think he's done pretty well with what he's had. He fucked up.
He did.
Sauce Gardner should be in Houston.
See, I will argue with that. I agree.
I think I know where you're about to go.
You think I know about to go?
And I think I agree with what the point you're about to make.
You're in my head.
I am.
Let me make it.
Go ahead.
Let me make it. So I do agree that Sauce Gardner has been balling his ass off, and I would have loved to see him in Houston. However, the Jets and how they're using him are completely different than how the Texans are using Derek Stingley.
We have stuck Stingley in a Tampa 2
zone
flats,
playing 15 yards off.
Stuck him in the side of the field. I know.
He has not been able to utilize the one thing that got him drafted at number 3 overall, his man coverage, his ball skills, his ability to be competitive with receivers.
Yeah.
That's something that Sauce Gardner's been doing all year.
Yeah.
Derek Stingley has not.
But here's one thing that I will say, and I hate to use something like this against a guy because I just it's so unfair and it's bull crap, but it's reality. There was questions about his health. There was questions about his durability. He's not playing right now.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner it seems like one of those guys who's just sturdy every single play, every single day, gonna show up and ball, and you're never gonna have an issue with him. And he just seems like one of those guys that just seems a little untouchable. He just seems like a star.
He's a cornerstone,
island
type of guy. Hey, we don't got to worry about that. Let's see what else we need to. Yeah.
And I think I just can't believe that we passed on a guy like that. And it hurts. And Stingley may work out. And that's why I'm not gonna say Stingley is a bad pick. I shouldn't even say that Nick messed up necessarily. But when you have a guy available like Sauce Gardner and you go a different direction, and then that guy steps into the NFL, steps into the National Football League from college, and is the best cornerback in the league, you can easily make that argument.
Yep.
That's a miss, dude.
It's a head scratcher.
That's a miss.
It's a head scratcher for sure.
It's a miss.
I want to see Derek.
If Stingley turns out to be just as good as him, it's a miss as far as I'm concerned. Because when you have a pick that high, when you have the 3rd pick in the draft, and there's a guy that can just hop on the field and do that from day one, it's a head scratcher when you miss him.
I want to see Derek in a different system. I want to see him being used more. Hopefully they do that with. Hopefully we're running different defense next year.
Yeah,
good God,
completely different.
before I'm completely, sold on him being a miss, I want to see what he can do. And I want to see him. I mean, maybe Sauce has been a little nicked up. I don't know if he's missed any games, but I want to see him. I want to see Derek Stingley healthy for a full season. Mm-hmm. If next year comes and he's hurt again and missing a few games, missing a handful of games, then yeah, it's going to be leaning towards bust for me. It's going to be leaning towards that. And man, a lot of the guys that we're talking about Nick and his draft picks that he's drafted so far have kind of been a little injury prone so far. You know what I mean?
I'll say this. He has seemed to be really, 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 really good in the draft around that 3rd, 4th, 5th round area.
That's that Patriots in him. The mid-round diamonds.
He's been very solid in the mid-rounds. But from the one season we've seen where he's had the first round picks, a little questionable. I gotta say I feel like we reached with Kenyon Green.
Man.
Hometown kid. I like him. He went to our high school. Dude. I really hope this guy. I hope he's in the gym as we speak.
Dude, he better be.
I hope, man.
In the squat racks.
I have a shirt. I already bought his shirt. I was gonna buy a jersey, but a little bit too expensive. So I already had bought the Petrie, so I bought the shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm rooting for him. I really am. But he struggled there at the end of this season.
He'll get
for him.
man. For him. I totally agree. He's got to be in the weight room.
Here's my thing. When you take a guard
first round
in the first round with the 15th pick in the draft,
he's got to come in and be locked down.
He's got to be step on the field and ready to go.
Yeah.
He can't be a.
Let's bring him in slowly.
We gotta develop him and get him ready. That's not what that pick's supposed to be.
Nope.
It's just not. But I like that we drafted the hometown kid.
Yeah.
I hope that he turns out to be a stud, and he very well can be. But he's supposed to already be one.
Right. To draft at what, 14, 15?
15th pick in the draft, I think.
We'll see.
Kenyon, I'm rooting for you. I think he is working his ass off right now. And I think he's gonna be a different guy next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that little disappointed in Nick there. I think he could have held off on that one and maybe got him in a later spot.
Yep. You could have drafted. Kyle Hamilton hasn't really played out a ton for the Ravens this year.
No.
Who else? I mean, there was some running backs there.
There were some running backs there. There was, I'll tell you what, the quarterbacks have not worked out in that draft at all. So we don't look as silly as that.
Well, I mean,
Kenny
Pickett's been solid.
I will say Kenny Pickett actually looks solid.
He looks pretty solid.
I was for whatever reason I was stuck on Malik Willis for whatever being the top quarterback in that draft, but he's not.
Malik has not. He's looked a little lost.
Shaky.